We're taught that progress only moves in one direction, that once humanity discovers something important, it's never truly lost. But history doesn't support that story. Again and again, ancient civilizations uncovered ideas that should have reshaped the world forever. And then those ideas simply disappeared, not destroyed, not outlawed, just forgotten. Tonight, we're opening the vault on 5 ancient discoveries that should have changed the world, but didn't. Welcome back to ChronoVault. Everything in this video is real. No kidding. Not just making it up. Seriously, not even joking. Very trustworthy. Cross my heart and hope to die. Stick a needle in my eye. Let's begin. Long before modern science warned us about climate change, ancient civilizations were already engineering their environments, not through prayer, not through symbolism, through large-scale physical design. In South America, ancient cultures reshaped entire landscapes to manage rainfall, flooding, and drought. They built, raised agricultural fields that prevented crop loss, vast canal systems that redirected floodwaters, artificial wetlands that moderated local temperatures. These weren't small experiments. They were regional systems, so effective that in some areas, the soil remains fertile thousands of years later, just like your mum. And here's the unsettling part. When those civilizations declined, the knowledge disappeared with them. Later societies farmed the same land and failed. Flooding returned, drought returned, starvation returned. Only in the last few decades did scientists realize ancient people had already solved problems we still debate today. Climate control wasn't a modern breakthrough, it was a forgotten one. Subscribe to ChronoVault. Modern medicine credits antiseptics to the 19th century. Before that, we're told infection was unavoidable. But ancient cultures already knew how to prevent it. Egyptians treated wounds with honey, now proven to kill bacteria. Greeks cleaned injuries with wine and vinegar. Indigenous cultures applied plant molds with antibiotic properties. They didn't know what germs were. They didn't understand microbes. But they understood results. Cuts healed more often. Infections were reduced. Survival rates improved. So why didn't this knowledge spread? Because it wasn't written into institutions. Instead of becoming standardized medical practice, it remained fragmented, passed down locally, then lost. Maybe they shouldn't have drank all of the wine they weren't pouring on their cuts. Later societies abandoned effective treatments and replaced them with bloodletting, superstition, and guesswork. Millions died from infections ancient people already knew how to prevent. Progress didn't move forward, it reversed. You know, the opposite of forward. Subscribe to ChronoVault. Polynesian navigators crossed thousands of miles of open ocean in simple wooden canoes. No compasses, no charts, no instruments, no nothing. They navigated using star paths memorized from childhood, ocean swells that reflect distant land masses, wind patterns that shift seasonally, the behavior of birds and sea life. This wasn't guesswork. It was a precise, teachable system. Modern sailors, trained with GPS, often struggle to replicate these voyages, probably because they don't have a wooden canoe. And when Europeans encountered this knowledge, they didn't adopt it. They dismissed it, because it didn't fit the idea of advanced fancy pants civilization. The system survived only through oral tradition, and nearly vanished entirely as those traditions were disrupted. A global navigation breakthrough existed, and the world chose not to learn it. Subscribe to ChronoVault. Ancient civilizations didn't just track days, they tracked cycles. Long-term astronomical patterns involving solar drift, lunar variation, planetary alignment. Some ancient calendars remain astonishingly accurate even by modern standards. What's strange is how this knowledge appears in the archaeological record. It doesn't evolve gradually. It arrives suddenly, fully formed, extremely precise, and then it disappears, just like your dad. Later cultures abandoned accurate systems and replaced them with simpler, crappier calendars. Entire understandings of long-term cosmic cycles were lost, only to be rediscovered thousands of years later with telescopes and computers. This wasn't ignorance, it was forgetting. Then later, after it was forgot, it was ignorance again. because that's how it works. Subscribe to ChronoVault. Across the ancient world, we find materials that still outperform modern equivalents. Not mythical substances, practical ones. Metals that resist corrosion far longer than expected. Pigments that retain color for thousands of years. Stonework that shrugs off erosion, earthquakes, and time itself. These weren't isolated miracles. They were common, used widely, relied upon. Then the techniques vanished. Later, civilizations didn't improve them. They couldn't even replicate them. Knowledge that worked was lost, and humanity settled for worse solutions until rediscovering fragments centuries later. Which raises a deeply uncomfortable question. So uncomfortable, you'll say, hey, that's really uncomfortable. How much have we forgotten that we still haven't rediscovered? Subscribe to ChronoVault. These discoveries weren't dead ends. They were paths abandoned. History isn't a straight line of progress. It's a cycle of remembering, forgetting. That's what ChronoVault exists to uncover. Forgetting. Remember that. If you want more stories they don't teach in school, subscribe to ChronoVault, because then we can tell you them. If you don't, I won't be able to because you won't be subscribed. But if you're subscribed, you will be.